Now the NFL draft is behind us, it's time to look forward to a whole new season in September. However, since we're only approaching May, we still got to talk about this NFL draft and some winners. What I kind of conducted is I had 5 big winners, and 6 and 7 on this list. I think they could have easily snuck in the top 5, but there was only room for 5. Let's kind of start off with who had the best draft, and that was the 49ers. At least in my opinion, that's who won the draft. John Lynch is his first year as a GM. If I'm a 49ers fan, I'm looking forward to the next 5 years. I honestly think that the 49ers could win another Super Bowl within the next 10 seasons. I mean, they went with Solomon Thompson, number 3, because they traded Chicago, the 2nd pick, so they can move up one spot to go with Mitch Trubisky, quarterback out of North Carolina. Just great strategy from John Lynch. He even used some pick leverage that he gained from maybe the Chicago trade to move back into the first round to go with Reuben Foster out of Alabama. So the 49ers, they got 2 of the best 5 defensive prospects in this whole draft class. They also filled some holes they needed. They also got a decent quarterback in C.J. Beathard in the 3rd round out of Iowa. In the 49ers quarterbacks right now are Brian Hoyer, Blaine Gabbert, and now C.J. Beathard. And C.J. Beathard is kind of the quarterback that Kyle Shanahan wants to work with. The 2nd best draft, I have it going to the Cowboys. I think they filled up so many needs they need, in particular on defense. Go with Taco Charlton in the 1st round, Chidobe Awuzie in the 2nd round. They got some solid steals as well. Yeah, Ryan Switzer and Noah Brown, those are the 2 steals that stick out to me. I mean, both solid receivers. They'll probably be used in special teams at first. But I feel like they're going to be really helpful in that offense in the near future. The 3rd best draft, in my opinion, went to the Denver Broncos. And I'm going to hold myself accountable for this, because before this, I think back in January, I had a piece on 3 teams that could draft in the playoffs, and the Broncos weren't one of them. I mean, I'm holding myself accountable to it. I feel like the Broncos could have made that list. But I think they drafted really smart. They got an offensive tackle in Garrett Bowles in the 1st round to protect the quarterback, whoever it's going to be next year. And they also got some steals in Jake Butt in the 5th round. That's the one that sticks out the most, because Jake Butt was probably the 2nd best tight end, only behind O.J. Howard in this draft class. If it weren't for that injury in the Orange Bowl, I feel like Jake Butt would have been easily a 2nd rounder. Possibly may have snuck into the 1st. The Broncos also got some solid offensive weapons as well. Carlos Henderson, wide receiver, Louisiana Tech, really underrated receiver. And they also got Chad Kelly at the last pick, which kind of interested me a little bit, because I feel like the Broncos had a steal there as well. So I think Chad Kelly could have been that 4th quarterback taken in this year's draft, had it not been for his off-the-field incidents and his season-ending injury last year. And yes, Chad Kelly is the nephew of Jim Kelly, if you weren't aware of that. The 4th best draft class, in my opinion, goes to the Atlanta Falcons. I think they drafted smart as well, moving up from 31 to 26 to get Tarkis McKinley out of UCLA. I was confused by that at first, but then I see how it would have shaped out. Because Seattle could have just gone with Ryan Ramczyk with 26. Then 27, 28, 29, and 30. Those were teams that could have had Tarkis McKinley on their draft board. I mean, Kansas City may have had him to replace Dontari Poe. The Cowboys could have taken him instead of Taco Charlton. The Packers could have possibly taken him. The Steelers probably could have as well. But I think the Steelers were going to take T.J. Watt the whole time, it seemed like. So I think Dan Quinn basically nailed that draft pick, even though I kind of disagree with it at first. But now that I see it now, I understand that him and his crew couldn't take any chances. The 5th best draft went to the Cleveland Browns, in my opinion. They drafted smart. They were able to get Myles Garrett with the first overall pick. They did the smart thing this time. They were able to get Jabril Peppers later in the second round. After they traded the 12th overall pick to Houston so they can grab Deshaun Watson, quarterback out of Clemson, Cleveland now had the 25th pick, and they drafted smart Jabril Peppers, safety and linebacker to Michigan, who's a very versatile player and is probably going to have a huge part in this Browns defense moving forward. And they traded back in the first round to get David Njoku, tight end out of Miami, Florida. I kind of disagree with that pick. I don't think it penalized. It didn't penalize the Browns too much in my draft winners, but they could have been maybe 4. So it didn't get really punished too bad in my criticism. But the Browns did really well, including a steal with Caleb Brantley, who fell in day 3. He could have been he would have been probably a late first rounder, if not early second round, if it weren't for his off-the-field incident as well. So the Browns definitely got a couple of steals in this draft. In 6 and 7, this was kind of too close to call. These two teams should have easily made it to the top 5. The Jaguars and Steelers. I like how both those teams filled in some of their needs. The Steelers especially, they kind of planned for the future, and by drafting Josh Dobbs, quarterback out of Tennessee, in day 3. Jaguars moving in the right direction again this year, but how are they going to utilize the talent? And that was the question we asked last, and they didn't utilize the talent really well. Jaguars drafting Leonard Fournette with the 4th overall pick. Good choice for the Jaguars. By getting the offensive tackle in the second round, really smart decision as well. Anyway, teams that also had great drafts but didn't make the list. I like what the Buccaneers did by drafting O.J. Howard at 19 and then Chris Godwin in the second round. Or third round, excuse me. I like what those two did as well. The Panthers did really well. I kind of like what the Colts did, but I feel like they kind of could have maybe done other things differently. But they did draft 6 offensive linemen last year. And the Colts did okay. I honestly don't like what the Bears or the Lions did. The Vikings did get a steal in Dalvin Cook in the second round. I think Cincinnati did really smart drafting this year by getting John Ross to pair up with A.J. Green and Joe Mixon to kind of help out in the backfield. They also went with Jordan Willis, defensive end of Kansas State, and then Carl Lawson, the 4th round defensive end of Auburn. I think Cincinnati did smart as well. I kind of don't like what the Texans did because I feel like maybe they weren't really necessarily going to be invested in Deshaun Watson, but I think I kind of agree what they did if they felt like they needed that quarterback. So I think they were originally going to be looking for Pat Mahomes, but then when they saw the Chiefs trade up to number 10 to go with Pat Mahomes themselves, that's the thing I didn't like about the Chiefs, the way they did that. I feel they didn't necessarily need to find that quarterback of the future this year. They could have maybe waited in later rounds this year or wait till next year. So I think next year's quarterback class is going to be really excellent. So I kind of don't like what the Chiefs kind of did early in the draft. Anyway, that's going to do it. I'm going to leave it at that. Like and subscribe to the channel. Also, share this video with your friends. Follow me on Twitter, JB Talk Sports. That's all I have for you today. Thank you guys for a great NFL mock draft and NFL draft season. I will see you in future videos. I already can't wait to talk about next year's draft class. They should be exciting as well. But 30 seconds here. Players that I feel like should have gotten drafted but didn't get drafted. Travis Rudolph, wide receiver to Florida State. Speedy Newell, wide receiver to Texas A&M. Ben Boulware, outside linebacker of Clemson. But Boulware found a home in the Panthers. Travis Rudolph found a home in the Giants. I'm surprised Corey Clement, running back out of Wisconsin, didn't get drafted as well. Just some of the surprises. Katie Cannon, wide receiver to Baylor. I hope he finds a team. Anyway, that's all I'm going to have for you today. Have a great day, everybody. See you next time.